Greetings and welcome back to Windows 10 uh, exam 7698. We're on lab 6, network configuration. The first exercise is just configuring IPv4 networks. This is something we do all the time. There's not a day in our life that we don't do this practically. Anyway, log in with your password. On London CL1, right-click the network status icon. And Network Sharing Center. There's many different ways to get here, so on the Network and Sharing Center page, click Change Address Adapter. Change address adapters here. Double click the Ethernet. You have Ethernet 1 and Ethernet 2. If you look at this one's disabled. If you ever want to re-enable these, it's pretty simple. You right click it and enable. But we're just going to double click on this one. Click on Properties. Click the IPv4, and you see we already have an IP address, and that's what they're going to ask you here to find. But we're going to switch this, and we're going to find the IP address automatically with the HCP. So this obtain an IP address right here automatically enables DHCP. Whenever you do that, you probably also want to check obtain DNS server automatically also, which it also says here. Click OK. Close this Ethernet down. It applies the changes. And then they want to right click here, command prompt, and run it as administrator. I'm still waiting for that to close. But what we want to do here is run the command prompt ipconfig. Ipconfig, and I'm going to do two commands here, tells you your local IPv6 addresses, your IPv4 address, along with the subnet mask in the default gateway. Again, it also tells some other tunnel. This has a tunneling device on it too. But if you do, just real quick, if you do a /all, I just did an up error. I got to actually type all correctly. You get more information on the adapter and find out the MAC address right here. And we use that a lot when we're trying to find things. That's the main thing we look here, but we also see our default gateway and DHCP server and everything else. Whatever else you need, these come in handy. At the command prompt, execute the command ipconfig all. I just showed you that. And by the way, if you have more than one adapter, right? So this is the host name of the device. This is your first adapter. Usually you'll have more than one. This is the tunnel adapter. More than likely you're going to have a wireless adapter. If I turned on that, if I didn't have that one disabled or two disabled, whatever you want to look at, you would see that one too. Okay, they say go back to the Network Sharing Center. See if that double click the Ethernet one more time. Properties one more time. We're going to go back to IPv4. Now we're going to type in the actual information. 172.16. 0.40. You want to tab over. Naturally, it comes up with a subnet mask of 255.255, which is the subnet mask for a Class B network, which 172.16 is in. This is actually a private IP address. We'll go more over this in class. Then the default gateway. This is the first hop on the router in 172.16.0.1. And then you want to click the DNS address here, 172.16.0.10. Typically, that's when 10 and 15 are usually your DNS servers in every place I've ever been on the generic ones. Click close. Go back to your prompt. Type in your IP config again. If you want to, just hit up arrow, and you can see that it changed to 40. Of course, we also want to do up arrow, until we hit the all, and then we can check all the rest of the stuff out. Again, all this stuff stays the same. Our IP address changed to 40. And since there's only one adapter on a NIC card, this is Ethernet 1, it's going to be the preferred one. It's going to tell you all the other information, your default gateway, your DNS server here. And that's this lab. Just because this one is less than 6 minutes, we're going to go right into the next lab. And we're going to click on Ethernet. This is configuring IPv6 settings, which is pretty much the same thing. So we want to double click the Ethernet properties one more time. Scroll down until you see the IPv6. Hit properties. They want to know what the link local address is, but you can see that when you're on here, right? The link local address is right here. Okay, on the property dialog box, scroll down to IPv6. Use the following IPv6 address. And all we're going to do is copy this. You can type it out if you like. It's fun to type out all these letters and numbers and colons. What I prefer to do. And if you just click down to here and type 64, if you click in here, it automatically fills out to 64, which is the default value of most of these IPv6 addresses. Notice we don't put a default gateway in here. I'm going to leave that in class and go over why we don't. Or you can go look it up. No DNS server, we're going to let it still figure out it's on its own. I'll go over that in class too, at least a little bit. Close. Close. And guess what? Go back to your ipconfig command. Just close this one. Close. And close. Again, I'm going to just up arrow. Just ipconfig. I should actually give some spaces here so it's more prevalent. There we go. And now we can see this. Link local. I do not see my IPv6 address, so I always want to put all. So when we go here, CE, this is CE2B. That's the one we just put in. This is your personal IP address. This is your link local. I don't like the way they did this. Anyway, your MAC address is here. Your IPv6 address is here. I'll go over in class why I don't like FE80 as your local address, but don't worry about that. It's your link local address, and that's how they connect to it. It kind of uses the IPv6 standard, so everything works inside of a LAN. You don't really need an IPv6 address unless you're trying to get out to the internet. And this one's just working on the inside. Anyway, that's this lab. Thank you for listening.